Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript party. Rhett's out in the living room. Actually, I have an alarm set that goes off in 1 minute for 3 o'clock every day. It's when I change up the lighting in my room, um, in my office to help me sleep. Basically, I shift from like a blue light over here in the corner. I don't know if I can get it into to this sort of evening color light. Um, so yeah, yesterday was a rough day for me. I ended up calling in sick this morning. I think I breathed in something that I had an allergic reaction to, and I just could not sleep. I had bad fever, sore throat, everything. Spent all like slept a bunch, and then I spent a lot of time clearing my nasal passages out, and I feel better now. Although I am, there we go, dismiss. Feel a little bit better. I also forgot to turn on the sound yesterday, and I was actually having a lot of sound issues at work as well. Um, wi- I don't know what the deal is, but like, see if you look at this, you get this little thing down here, and that indicates that it's recording. So usually I try to keep an eye on that. And then these specific headphones have like a button. When you click the button, it changes. Oh, but I think the button must be going bad. And so, anyways, I need to be a little bit better about paying attention to that. I do have this project, this OBS, this program installed at work too, and I tried to get it working, and I don't know, man, that was weird. But anyways, I have been coding in JavaScript since 1996, so that is just shy of 30 years, right? Like in another month. And it wasn't like January of 1996, but I think officially you could say it's 30 years in just over 2 months, maybe 30 years. And I remember hearing probably back in like 2005, like everyone who programs in JavaScript, which is probably true of all languages, but in JavaScript has like a Swiss cheese of knowledge. You have all these holes in your knowledge, and I sort of stumbled onto a huge hole in my personal knowledge, and that's around memories and deleting specifically. And so I kind of got into this. I've been in this sort of journey of learning about deleting, and one of the things I realized is that this kind of thing, where you have like a reference to an object, is a just a terrible, 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 or can be a terrible, terrible, terrible anti-pattern, because as long as this st render exists, then there is a reference to this three renderer. And as long as that reference exists, even if you build some code that is supposed to manage the three renderer, it can't actually delete it. It can delete all its own references to it, but it can't delete the object. And I think that is sort of the crux of what a memory leak is, or at least maybe the most common. But additionally, I have this other one, which is calculated values, and this is just like a helper thing and all that. And that isn't as big of a deal, because when I delete this, there should be, if nothing else should ever get a reference to this calculated values. And if it does, then that's a problem there. This calculated values is intended to only be for this renderer. So I think that that sort of puts a wrinkle in it. Like at first I was like, I should have no references to objects, but now I'm like, well, I should have no references to objects that aren't like bound specifically to this object, and there's no technical binding there, like just I'm mentally bound to that. But as I was moving through, I deleted this ST visualization. I made it into an ID, and nothing broke. And then I was like, oh, am I even using it? And nothing broke. And once I deleted it, it still compiled. So just because it compiles does not mean that everything works. So like sort of another layer that I've added is I actually have 100% test coverage in unit tests, so I can run my unit tests. Um, and then once the unit tests are run, if they all pass too, then like that's a really good indication that like there's no internal um, coupling in there, that that's going to break because I have everything gets executed, and so if everything got executed and nothing broke when I deleted that, that sort of from a code perspective shows that there's nothing that is dependent on that. But that in itself isn't enough either. I might have some feature or something that depends on it that will break and isn't like necessarily something that will get caught during compile time or in 100% unit test coverage. And then that's where end-to-end testing comes in. I feel like I've done my best to try to create end-to-end tests um, that will capture all unit test issues. I mean, we'll capture, lock in all of my um, features that I want. And so at this point, I'm running all 100%. I have 106 unit tests. Right, every single line of code is being executed, and nothing broke when I deleted this. So then the next step would be to run end-to-end tests. Npm run tests. I mean, run Cypress. Open. And now if I can run all my end-to-end tests that we're passing before I started this code, this effort, then I think I'm good to go. And I will say again, I think I mentioned it yesterday, although the sound was off, so you didn't hear. But I do have another project that I'm right at the end of, and I got it running locally, and then I deployed it someplace, and it broke there, and then so I fixed all the basic stuff, and then now I'm deploying it to GitHub, and it's breaking there, so I'm gonna fix that this weekend. But I really wish I had end-to-end tests on that one because it would have been really nice to just be able to run the end-to-end tests against the deployed and see that everything still works. I mean, I tried everything out that I could think of. Fortunately, it doesn't have that many features, so it wasn't that hard to go over all of them. But, who knows? And I don't think there's going to be a big rush to use my tool that I put out there. So it could be months or years before, if there is a problem, before anyone even notices it. And by then, I won't even care. I'll be like long gone from that project. Um, so I think that project's going to do me a lot of good at the beginning of my next projects. I'll invoice. All right, so it looks like our end-to-end tests are up and running, and so we'll just run them. And I don't know if I ran them yesterday. Yesterday is a bit of a blur to me, and I am actually starting to get a sore throat again. Um, I did call in early to work this morning. I am a contractor at this point in time, so like one of my favorite things and most unfavorite things about being a contractor is like you don't really have to feel guilty about calling in sick because you aren't getting paid if you call in sick, which is a bummer because you don't get paid. But like I remember when I was a full-time employee for ADP years and years ago, I always felt so they had a very generous sick policy. And I always felt so guilty every time I took sick time off. Um, Now, where I work now doesn't, I think they had like unlimited sick time or something like that. Um, and what was crazy is everybody was always sick. I mean, I didn't know, it was like, I don't know if like having unlimited sick time ends up making you more likely to get sick because it's like in Georgia here, my understanding is they're not supposed to give preferential, like for jury duty, they're not supposed to uh, call you more likely if you get paid for jury duty, but apparently they do. I think sick time, there's no reason why sick time should make you more sick, but it's having a lot of sick time, unlimited sick time seems to like, I don't know, give a positive weight to getting sick, and then it seems like everybody was sick there all the time, including myself. Like those were by far the sickest years of my life. So it looks like all of our end-to-end tests are passing, all of our unit tests are passing. So I think it's we're good to go towards. Okay, so this is my Cypress, and it has closed itself. But for unit tests, you actually have to kill it um, in the command line, or it won't. And then that's the one that's running. All right, so this is super simple. Literally, all we did was remove it from there, And um, okay, well, so all we did was add this false to the deleted. And I guess that was something different. That was so that we could fix things. I don't know. Do I need to? Well, and I don't even have that. I don't quite understand what this is. It's kind of a bummer because now, okay. I'm actually very confused. Okay, so here's st renderer and we just delete it. Oh, this is our interface. But wasn't there some code? Maybe I never even said it? This is weird. Maybe I was more sick than I thought I was yesterday morning, and I had actually did a commit. So anyways, let's commit that, removes st renderer. Click on this. Or st visualization. Let's see, what video is this one? Yeah, my sore throat's coming back. Oh man. I had maybe I had deluded myself into thinking that I wasn't um that it was just a allergic reaction to 83. Video 283. Yeah, so that was to referencing that. So maybe I never even, I guess I uh, never even said it. Yeah, it looks like I never, ever even said it. I just had it as a thing, as a issue. And then the other thing that was interesting to me was that when okay, this, I want to undo that. I want to undo this because I don't know why I got rid of it. Oh, okay. So I guess that isn't even part of this whole thing. So maybe I just forgot to it. Oh, actually, all I did was delete commented code. This was commented out, and now it's just gone. So removes commented code. So I'm gonna push this. I need to pay closer attention to this kind of thing, but I think I always get sick like mid-October. Um, I think that is like, and I don't think it's like sick. I don't think I catch a virus or an infection or anything like that. I think it's just um, like some sort of allergic response or something like that. Um, now, here we go. So this movie's only 14 minutes long right now. So I think the next step is to kind of go back and do it again. Um, let's close everything except for this guy. Close all. Never close all. Okay, close all, and let's go to our interfaces, and let's go to our very top interface, which is the renderer. And we see that, I said do not require 3 object, but I think I want the renderer ID, and I think I store it by st renderer ID, so I don't even think I need this. Like, I think there's a 3 renderer service. And I believe it has a get renderer by ID. And I believe that this is the STID. Yeah, see, when I create a render, I pass in the ID, the STID. So I think if I look for this, I wonder if I can do this. Find implementations. What do I get when I do that? See, this is where it was implemented. Find references, go to references. I've never used this before, so create render, constructor, create render ID and number. I don't know. Okay, so this is the, yeah, so this is the one I'm actually looking at. I don't know. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe this is, okay, so ST render service apparently doesn't create, okay, now I get how this works. Yeah, see, I pass in an ST render ID. So let's close that up. I wonder if I should change this to ST render ID. I think I should. Like, that would have saved us a lot of time if I had named it ST render ID for the first, at first. Okay, that should be a lowercase e. Yeah, I guess now that I'm sitting up for a little bit, I'm starting to fall apart um, from a health perspective. So that shouldn't be a problem. And so now I think this one should also be ST renderer ID, and then my problems definitely. Then this becomes so much easier to make sense of. I think it would be good to change that to get renderer by ST renderer ID, but I'm not feeling that ambitious at the moment. All right, so now what I want to do is I just want to get rid of this and see. I don't know if it's feasible, but let's, I guess I've never been in this view here, so I don't know, but we're going to go to that. And now I'm going to delete this. And then for me, like one of the major issues, like this is just like I built another one of these applications very much like this. One of the things that's different is you could only create one visualization. You couldn't create a bunch. But the thing that drove me absolutely bonkers on that one was that I couldn't, like I could only work on something and then I couldn't save it out and then start work again. Um, I guess I could have used like Cypress or something. Like I could have, created a script that then goes and gets me to where I was at, but I really want to be able to export and import this, and then I want to be able to update it from um, outside or create a file from outside. I mean, it would be kind of neat to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is something that I have that creates a picture of a five-sided star. Do you know how to update this to a six-sided star? I don't think it would be able to do that because I don't think it could find anything where anyone's done that before. But I don't think ChatGPT finds patterns. I think it just finds the best accepted answer. Um, and that is saying something considering how much I'm not going to call it misinformation because apparently the definition of misinformation is not what I used to think it was, which I thought the definition of misinformation was like something that was not the truthful, but that is not what it means, but like untruthful information that's out there. All right, so we have a problem. Let's see. Let's come over here. So I like this. I'm starting to get, okay, so it's saying that ST render service line 62 tries to set it. And so, oh, and we decided to get rid of it altogether since it's stored by the ST render ID anyways. So the entity, the service that manages the three renderers, stores the renderer by STID, which we clearly have if we have this. So we do not need a reference to this. I would assume this breaks other things, but maybe not. This might be another example of something that I was just making a reference to that I didn't need it. I sort of think that this is one thing that I'm always around, right? Like I would say probably like 3 out of 4 computer programmers, at least American-born, college-educated computer programmers, I guess I should put it that way, have what we call a obsessive compulsive disorder. They have a disorder in which they look at things and then if it doesn't seem right, or if it's off at all, it just drives them nuts. Um, so it seems like a third or so of these guys. To me, it seems like this is kind of the very source of it is like I'm deleting things that I don't need references to because it makes it easier for me to understand what's going on. Because I won't be like, oh, well, why is that there? Because it's not there. Um, and that is pretty valuable, especially if you come at things from a architectural perspective. All right, so once again, we deleted this, and it doesn't seem to have any compilation issues. So let's see if we have any obvious breakages. No, we do not have any obvious breakages. So let's see if it breaks unit tests. Run test. See, I just assumed I needed a reference to that. I would love to get rid of this deleted. I think the deleted is sort of a admission that you don't have all your stuff together. You don't have it all you don't everything's not well organized. So you have to put a little flag there. Now I may not even need it anymore because there's code that looks for that deleted and it doesn't ever seem to get called as far as I can tell anymore. In our unit test, I don't think it ever gets um, like we should see a console log that says something like error attempting to animate a renderer that doesn't exist or something like that. If we are still getting that, it would be good to like sort of figure out why that's happening. Almost there. I remember the last few years thinking, oh man, I think I get sick in October because of the leaves. Like the leaves sort of fall down and then and I guess they get like all mildewy and stuff underneath the leaves. And then, maybe there's some stuff under there that my sinus system doesn't like. So I've been pretty aggressive this year about trying to, blow all the leaves up and put them in piles and all that. I'm curious, do we have any, since we're not doing anything anyways, any detached nodes? I was like at my timesheet, the company I work for that I contract through, they have a timesheet um it's not Angular or anything like that. I looked to see what its detached elements were, and like literally all I had done was log in and update. See, I have no detached elements. Logged in, updated my timesheet, hit save, and then checked to see if detached elements. It had like 30,000 uh, table rows that were detached, and like their tables are huge, so it probably had like 30 cells under each one of them. Okay, so these all passed, and we still have our 100%, which deleting code would rarely ever cause you to not have 100%. And now we'll close this. We'll run our Cypress test. Run Cypress open. So let's see. And we're back. I see the little lines on there. Still waiting for the Cypress to open. So 3:24. This video's been going on for 25 minutes. And there we go. A few steps to getting it running when you run it locally. I believe if I think you can just get it to run too. And maybe we should try that instead. Like npm Cypress, I believe it's run is the other one. Let's see. Like I bet you maybe if I did this, it would just run them all. Maybe I'll try that right after we do this test, just because that would be kind of nice. Because in this situation, I just cannot fathom how it would have broke anything on Cypress. But I've seen weirder things. Um, there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I cannot fathom how this could possibly break it, and then it's broken. And then it's like, oh, it's so obvious why it broke. But yeah, I would be shocked if this broke any tests. The first one always takes a while to run. But I'll tell you, it's like one of these things where like, as a software developer, I mean, there's just no way that you're always going to be like heads down grinding out code. Just the nature of the code. The nature of modern coding is it's so like collaborative that you have to wait on other people to get things to you or whatever. And then like their only thing would be to have you work on multiple projects at one time. But the problem is if you get too fixated on like if you work on too many projects in parallel, you get them all. You don't you never learn anything. I mean you just get them all wrong because you can't focus enough. So it makes a lot of sense um, to during those downtimes to write Cypress tests and stuff like that, just to test all your stuff. And I'll tell you, Cypress tests come in handy at the moments that you need them the worst. It's like, oh, we there's this one small bug, and we see this one small change that will fix that bug, but we can't be sure that it's not going to break anything else. And then you can just run your Cypress test, and if you have good coverage, um, you could be all nice and set. You don't have to worry about it. All right, so that didn't break anything, so we can do another commit. Wow. Let's see, that's the thing we're gonna work on. We're gonna remove our STC. That's got to break stuff, I would think. And I'm guessing a scene gets its own ID. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. And that looks good. Well, we know we just did commits video 283. So we weren't even using the render ID. So we're creating that. Um, actually, it's more like there's another one that's more like it's to three render. So, so these last ones, like I would never have predicted that was going to be that easy. Just never in a million years. I mean, that is just crazy. All right, so let's go to our scene. Go to definition. Does it have its own ID? Yes, it has a scene ID. Right, and that is because I want to be able to have the same scene in two different visualizations. Um, so, and then like on the ST side, it isn't like you may not be able to create two actual scenes in ThreeJS, but that doesn't matter because this is the ST. I can have I can have identical ones and then generate two different ones and have them stay in sync with each other. And that's kind of the whole point. Um, Let me push that, get push. All right, so ST scene, we want this to be ST scene ID, and we want that to be a number. And we'll see if that's used anywhere. I'm pretty sure this one's used. Okay. See, so this guy here, so here is we break it, so we want this to be okay, we want to change this to that, and then we want to say, so you see that now that is a number. We're still going to have it broken because this renderer apparently uses the renderer service gets it from its scene. So we want, so yeah, so it gets a three scene, an actual ThreeJS object from that. But what we want to do is we actually want to get the scene, right? So we can get the scene from the scene manager. So scene service. So let's see if we import the scene service already. Yep, we import the scene service, right? So we could say uh, st scene is equal to this dot st scene service dot get scene by ID, and I'm sure that's the scene ID. So we want the st renderer dot st scene ID. I feel like that makes so much sense. And then we could change this. We can get rid of that altogether and just say st scene. Let's see if that fixes everything. And I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day if when I'm all done with this, I realize, oh, this didn't actually do anything. That would not be the first time that happened to me. Okay, so it looks like over in the animation service, we also do something along these lines. I think we could probably copy this. Let's see, hopefully. Now, I know I had some sort of issue where I was unable to import certain things in certain situations. So hopefully we don't run into that. That's the thing that kind of lives at the end of my mind. Okay, so we have to get, so this iterates over all the moduluses in the animation mesh, and it has the ST renderer, and we know that we can, so I hope, do we have the ST scene? Do we have the scene? Okay, no, we have the scene service, but not the ST scene service. Whew. I hope we can pull in this ST scene service. Well, okay, so let's see what's in the scene service. because maybe it has. So when we create this, okay, it must use the scene ID. And see, this would be a lot easier if I had named it. Yeah, scene ID. See how I, over here, when I create this, I create that. So let's go ahead and fix that out. So this kind of falls under the leave the campground better than you found it. Scene ID. That's going to save me like having to do that step in the future of going and looking at the. So we do have a reference to this object. So and this object can also get it. Now this might end up being a mistake in the future. Like it wouldn't surprise me, but if it is in fact a mistake, I would like to experience it. Oh, that was silly. It's ST scene ID. That didn't help at all. I'm just going to copy that. Yeah, just calling it a scene ID didn't help because that could be the ThreeJS scene ID. Like, and I don't think it exists like this scene ID. We don't keep track of a ThreeJS scene ID. So maybe that's why I just decided to name it ID, but I think it would have, like I said, it would have saved me a step. Okay, so this will return a 3 scene. And we do have a reference to this service, the scene service. So that's good. And it's probably better to um, oh, see that? Oh, but I'm still going to end up needing the actual scene here probably, but we'll worry about that when I get back there. I think I started down here somewhere, right? Yeah. So we want the 3 scene. That's what we want. So, oh, but it's this ST scene. Oh, you silly rabbit. For some reason, I thought I wanted the actual 3 scene, but actually I want the ST scene because that's what has the meshes associated with it. All right, so let's see if I can pull in the ST scene service. And if I remember correctly, this only breaks in runtime. It doesn't break. Whenever I have this issue that I'm afraid of that I haven't ever been able to figure out, um, it only breaks during runtime. Okay, so this is supposed to be ST, and then that's supposed to be ST, like that. Now, yep, that's the service I want. Okay, so our ST scene is, man, I hope this stuff works. So this is this is ID, which exists, and then we want to use this dot scene service dot get scene by ID. What? Dot, and I guess we want another dot get scene by ID. All right, so this should get us the actual scene from the scene service. That's supposed to be an ST scene, not a 3 scene. Oh, yeah. This was supposed to be this ST scene service. All right. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's how that is. And now this is supposed to get the actual ThreeJS scene, which is going to be pretty much the exact same thing, but we're going to use our ST scene. I named it ST scene, right? Oh, unfortunately that happens there. Okay, so it looks like we need this ST scene outside of here too. So let's go ahead and get this here. And I do not know if this is going to work. I won't be surprised if I have to bail on all of this. Right, so basically it was not in the context of between these brackets. So I decided to move it out since it is also useful here as opposed to recalculated. I could have recalculated on like line 93, but I hate it when you have to write this much code and you can't really test it that it's worked out. Okay, so now we need the ST scene, which we figured out that we can get. And all I did was paste what, and I got lucky that that was the right. Yeah, I couldn't quite remember if the right thing was in the correct stuff was in there, but it was. All right, so let's hit save and see if that compiles. Just it compiling doesn't guarantee anything. Let's see if we get anything weird in our console. This is I can't remember if we could import because I wrote some bad code that does some sort of self-reference that just breaks everything in some conditions. I can't remember exactly what they are. Okay, so that all seems to work. Seems like we fixed it. The animation is working. All right, so let's go through the routine again. I do not know if what we just did, like if the process that we're going through would be feasible without unit tests and without um, end-to-end tests. I don't know if it would have if we ever would have been able to do this, because the issues are so subtle. Uh, okay, so we have at least one broken, it looks like two broken unit tests. So we want to get the scene here. So const. So what I want to do is focus on this one. So we have more than one broken unit test. So, oh, actually, I don't think that helps though. I think when you're compiling, it doesn't help. Okay, so we know we want a const. We know we want stc, and we know that it's going to be of type st scene. And I know we do something a little weird to get st. Okay, did we? So we have a big st scene service. So can't remember how we get the renderer service. Okay, so we want st scene service equals testbed inject. I don't know why it's complaining about this unless it's already. What is the error? Okay, that's really strange because oh, maybe I need to update it here. Ah, okay. This is where we define them. See, this is a little bit different than regular, um, like the normal code, typical code that it's just a little different. So it can be awkward if you don't do it very often. Okay, so then I'm guessing whatever I did is happy now. Um, all right, so we have the little red things over here, and that's what I'm looking for is there. So we need to create an ST scene. And we're going to get it from our newly imported ST scene service. And we're going to use the get scene by ID. And that's going to be on our ST renderer dot ST scene ID. And then we don't need this. We can just go straight to ST scene and get all our meshes. And that is definitely going to break. We're going to have having to break that because I do not want the meshes on the whole mesh sitting on um, the scene because those meshes are definitely going to be reused. Okay, so here we go. Oh, and I was partially working on this ST scene service dot get scene ID by ID, and then it's ST renderer dot ST scene ID. And there's like when I was first coding and stuff, there's just no way I'd be able to remember that much stuff and keep that in my head. It's kind of like if you always get like a login, it's a 4-digit login. So it's going to email it to you. You get conditioned to be able to remember 4 digits. And then so you can go type it into another thing. But then suddenly if they change it to 10 digits, you can't remember you can't remember full 10 digits because you've trained your brain to remember 4 digits. But after a little while, you can remember the 10 digits too. Um, all right. So let's hit save and see. I think there was 2 sets of broken stuff, and for some reason it's not catching that. And I don't have, typically what I'll do is I'll go to the little browser that pops up and hit reload to force it to rebuild, but it doesn't rebuild. So now we're trying it again, see if it'll compile. I'd say probably, I think there was 2 areas that were broken, so I don't think this is enough. Oh, looks like it was. All right. So all we care about is 100% that they all pass and we get 100% coverage, which I think once they build, we can count on that. Okay, so we still are getting this at once, it looks like. Error trying to render a deleted renderer. I don't think we should be getting that. I think that's a bad thing. All right, but that's good. And now let's go ahead and kill this. And we'll try running our Cypress tests. Oh, darn it. Let me kill that. Try run and see what happens. So we did get a bunch of stuff. Headless, it says it started. And I think what happens is you get like, oh, video false, screenshot 0. So I think you have to tell it to make maybe. I think this is a lot faster than running that. Maybe it only takes videos and screenshots if something fails. I don't know. But I think I'd rather do this though. So now it's running the resize UI. But this is, I think, what you want for like CI/CD, right? So like it runs like in Azure or in Amazon or wherever. Um, and I haven't used it enough, but I think the fact that it's green means that it passed. It took 14 seconds, 8 seconds, and it passed the reflow spec. Delete spec. Wonder what happens if I click on results. I'm going to try that as soon as this thing's done. Because it kind of looks like a, well, no. It kind of looked like a hyperlink to me. 5 passed for the routing. That's the second to last one. Then 1 passed for the, so I think that's good enough. Oh, this is cool. So now it shows us all that and the amount of time each test took. It says all tests passed. Um, so yeah, I think that's really cool. And that is a lot faster. And Cypress is awesome. All right, so how long are we into this thing? We are 51 minutes. That's definitely a good amount of time. So let me go ahead and push this. Um, yeah, 2, 3 refactors scene to uh, st scene. I do think this is a lot better. I mean, I hate having killed all this time. We spent all this time on this refactor. Um, because we haven't gotten any cool videos out of it, any cool visualizations out of it. But I think it is way better than it was. Okay, I'm gonna push that. And is that it? Was that it for ST? Yeah, that was it. So ST, I think, is officially conquered. So then when you look at, that's the ST renderer. Okay, and the renderer does have a camera. So let's go into our camera and look at that real quick. Okay, so this is still, yeah, I think these are good, but I think this, we do not need this reference. I don't want to have this reference. I hope we don't need this reference. Um, so I would like to get rid of that next. And then these are objects, but these are objects that are specific to this camera. So we do not have like an ST triple. All triple means is that it's got an X, Y, and a Z position, or some kind of three. It's like a vector of some sort, um, and that's it. But like I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even need this. Like if we delete this and it goes away. Let's see, geometry. What does geometry have in it? So again, it looks like, I'm guessing there's a 3 geometry manager, and that probably has access to the 3's actual geometry. We don't want to, I don't think we want that. Material. Yeah, same deal. But these aren't nearly as bad. Mesh. So each mesh has its own animation. I do think that that's right. Although there is an animation manager. I don't think there is an animation manager. Um, Maybe there should be. So if we look at services in the animation service, see, it looks in here. Yeah, I think that, and I think I knew at the time, maybe I do need to manage animations in here, and then instead of, and this is like a full-blown refactor, even more so than the other ones. Um, but yeah, in mesh, where are you? In this ST mesh, um, instead of actually having an array of animations, I probably should have an array of animation IDs, and then those IDs should be maintained in uh, by the animation service, and and then it, and that would make it possible. See, the way I have it right now, it really wouldn't be possible to share an animation between two objects. So to say, oh, I'm going to show this happen and move across this, like this sphere, move across one, one little, like move across in a 1 second thing in the one way, and then say also make it do it the same way. Make this box so that you can kind of see them move side by side. You wouldn't be able to do that the way I have this implemented. So that's actually a legitimate fix, and I think I actually recognized that as an issue back in the day when I was doing that. When I was setting it up, I just was like, I don't know exactly how this is going to work. And then our ST scene, so that has an array of meshes, which we definitely don't want. That we probably want an array of IDs of meshes, and that mesh as the mesh service has probably already does too. Yeah, see, the mesh service has its own dictionary. So I would rather, yeah. So right now I basically have two references to each mesh um, by having them in this array and in over in ST. So we definitely want to turn that to IDs, and then this needs to become an ID if it is in fact needed. It may not be needed because I'm guessing, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not using it. But I think that, and then that's it. Visualization, right? We did that one already. Yeah, we've already cleaned this one up. So yeah, maybe we'll be done by the end of the weekend, which would be really cool because then we could go back to the original task that we were working on. We're at the very top of the rabbit hole. We're in the very first rabbit hole, and that would be to, yeah, let me reload. Add viz, update, see that we have update of 1, go back to here, go back to here, delete, add viz, update. Instead of being at 11, we'll be at 1 again. So we've recycled all the IDs, so we're not, um, so we don't run out of IDs in the future. Because at some point, I would love probably to have a camera that kind of moves through hundreds of thousands, millions of different little visualizations and stuff, and if if we have we can run out of IDs pretty easily if we have something computing that kind of stuff. So, and oh, we do have, did I do this? Maybe I didn't do this. Oh, I haven't done this one, but we probably, go, 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 go. I don't think our viz component, well, our viz component, okay, so if we go to the definition of this, this is our actual visualization component. Um, I guess we could give it a unique ID that it calculates, and this could have a function that returns this if for it. I guess we could also create a service. We do have a viz service. See, I wonder if these viz services are See, this viz service is, I think, one to one. Like every one of these components, I don't think it's a singleton. I believe that each one of these will get their own service. But I don't know what to do about that one. That one's a tough one. I think, yeah, inject component visualization service. I don't know if this is a singleton or not. Maybe it is a singleton. See, if that is it, then I have this component visualization service. That's this guy, right? Then this guy could actually have a list of all the existing components. And then that could delete it. Because, see, the problem is that I need a way to, I probably need a way to get the actual visualization, the component visualization. I need to get this. And so I'll need like uh, a service. See if I were to, I guess what I could do to figure out if render in native element ref. See, I wonder about this because see if this is actually a singleton, then I think this code is really screwed up. Um, so I think that's a question for. See, I think these must all be. Okay, so I believe that basically there's only one of these. So I think that that will screw code up pretty good because the thing is I kind of treat it. If you look in there, I kind of treat it like it's a like every one of the classes, every one of the components is its own is like tied to the actual component. Like that every like so it would be very confusing, I think. Okay, so control V. So code. I want to. Someone's calling me. I do not recognize the number. I never answer phone calls from people if I don't recognize the number. And I want to, because the AIs, like I get phone calls from AIs and they sound so human and they don't like, they can just lie to you and they don't go to jail, right? Like if a person calls me up and, and they do something completely illegal, they can get in trouble, but an AI can't get in trouble and they can do anything as illegal as they want. Want to uh, know if the component visualization service is a singleton. Okay, so it depends on how. Okay, so component. So it's saying it's how it was provided. Okay, injectable. Oh, okay, so it's saying okay, so yeah, if it's this, then yes, it's a single. Okay, so I don't want that. Providers provided in the component. So I think I need to do this. And I kind of want to just do it now. So apparently if I do it like this, then they'll all have their own copy. And I don't know if that breaks anything or not. But we at the very least need to do that, I think. It doesn't look like, oh, because we're in the wrong view. Okay, so that is good. So that didn't break anything. I wonder if that breaks the unit tests. I mean, it might break the unit tests. The other thing is my phone no longer gives me messages. It stopped giving me messages like telling or informing me that I have messages like a couple years ago. But yeah, I got a phone call telling me that I had like not I'd gone on a ambulance ride like 3 weeks ago and that I hadn't paid and that my that it was in collection. But the thing is, in the U.S., like it takes at least 90 days for something to go into collection. So it was definitely not true. And that was like, but it had me like really spun up, and I was just like, man, like it was definitely, and after putting a little thought into it, it was very clear that like it wasn't a person. It didn't respond the way a human being would respond. Because I was being very aggressive, and it was like it didn't bother her at all. It sounded like a 19-year-old girl, but like there was just no 19-year-old girl that would respond that way. Um, so I was just like, okay, that's it. Never again. I'm not answering the phone unless I actually recognize the number. Period. Because honestly, the consequences for missing a phone call from a person is pretty low. Like you miss a phone call from a person and then and then you check your voicemail and then you call them right back if it's something important. Um, like nobody even expects someone to answer the phone anymore, unless they're expecting to be in your contact list. And then if they are in your contact list, it'll show up. I wonder why that one was yellow. I guess because it just took so much time. It's like 13 seconds. It's a lot of tests though. I think I'll commit this too and then call it quits for the day. I'm definitely a lot sicker now than when I started. I felt perfectly fine when I started this video. Now, I definitely have a sore throat again. My nose is running a lot worse, so looks like it worked. This is the last one. I got my little report telling me everything was good. Okay. Changes the is component away from a singleton. I really do think that would have caused problems. Like, because like all the code in that service thought that it was dealing with one of these things, and how would it know which one it was dealing with? I don't know exactly what all that code was doing, but I do want to manage the visualizations in like a dictionary. I want a dictionary that will return the right visualization, so I don't have to store a reference to it on the actual um, S ST visualization is basically what it comes down to. Um, And so then when I go to delete it, I only have one reference to it in one place, and that's it. And that's in that dictionary. Now I don't have anything that uniquely identifies it yet, but and it's hard to imagine that I'll remember this, but I'm definitely a step closer to being able to get it done. And that's probably one weird issue. Maybe that even will cause my. I wonder if that issue in the unit test was still there, where it says that it attempted. Oh yeah, trying to render it, so it's still there. I was kind of hoping that might fix it. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.